Hey guys, it's Janelle here, also known as Chow Chow Eat Wait. Welcome back to another video. And this video, I have to say, I'm gonna be so vulnerable and just completely out there, but at the same time, I hope it helps others out there who might be going through something similar. So I don't know if anybody follows me on Instagram or Twitter or my blog, but I've been trying to do a lifestyle change for a very long time now. I mean, obviously I am not the thinnest person in the world, nor am I the healthiest, and it got to a point, it always gets to a point where I just feel so sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. And I start something and then I trail off, and I start something and then I trail off. And I touched a little bit on this on my What I Ate Wednesdays, or also known as What's in Janellie's Belly. And the thing is, it's that with lifestyle changes come a lot of changes, and change isn't easy. It's not something that you can just pick up and go. And I mean, sure, some people might, but a lot of us can't. I think there's a saying that it takes 30 days to build a habit. Well, for me, it takes about a year to get a habit going and making sure that I'm consistently doing it. And even then, I'm never really 110% committed. And so there have been so many times where I've started this and I failed. I started it and I failed. I started it and sometimes I even took 10 steps back. But I just kind of wanted to share my story, hoping that it might motivate or encourage somebody out there, or even just myself, to be able to look back on and say, this is where I started and this is how far I've gotten. Now, everything through life that you do, it has ups and downs, and a lot of it comes with change, and I know that. And change isn't necessarily the easiest for everybody out there. I am not good with change at all. And so the problem is for me, though, is that I come from a place with really low self-esteem. I have a lot of body image issues. I have a lot of issues, period. And so I can't believe I'm sharing this story, but it all started basically when I was in elementary school, and I know exactly when it happened. Excuse the hair, but I know exactly when it happened and when everything kind of started to feel like it was going out of control. And that has always been the number one thing. I have always felt a lot of things that are happening to me are just not in my control, which is, I don't like that. I like being in control of at least some things, and I think that's why I have such a high complex of making sure or being so hands-on with things. And anyhow, so it started in elementary school, and when I transitioned to a new school, I could not deal with it. The only way I could deal with it was through food, and I explicitly remember just surrounding myself with food to make myself feel better. And then, long story short, that just never changed, and I always surrounded myself with food, and I've had bad and good relationships with food, and I just had issues with food, a lot of issues with food. Sometimes I would just look at it, and I mean, looking at me, you would never think I had an eating disorder, but I really did. I had one when I was in middle school. There's this point in time where I was just only eating not even one real solid meal a day. I mean, my meals were consisted of rice and shoyu, and that was breakfast and that was dinner. In between for lunch, I would just either take the bread from my friend's tray lunches, or I would just chew on gum, and that was my lunch. And you know, like I said, my relationship with food has always been on again, off again, really good, really bad. And I've fallen into so many different types of eating disorders that it just never seemed to produce any results. And then when I started feeling really good about myself, then I would start eating again, and then I would start getting the weight back, and then it was just a whole roller coaster of so many different things going on. And then now, I mean, fast forward to now, my relationship with food still isn't the greatest, but I mean, I still look at it as my enemy, and it's something that I need to survive. But at the same time, I look at it and I'm like, you have caused me so much grief that I can't anymore. And now it's just at this point in my life and at this stage, I'm just trying to find that balance where I can handle everything and do everything that I want. And so I know I needed to incorporate exercise big time. And so I tried so many times to go to the gym, start going back to the gym, or start going on walks or something. And nothing ever really stuck, and it sucks because I just felt like I kept falling off the train so much, and I just felt like a failure every single time I didn't succeed in doing something. And it's not fun to feel that way, really, it's not. And so it was tough. It's been tough. And so I tried different routines, I've tried different diets, I've tried a lot of different things, and obviously none of them are working. But this time around, I decided to look at it with a completely new perspective, and I decided to just take it one day at a time, not to rush anything and not to push myself into doing anything. This was not my New Year's resolution. I didn't really make any New Year's resolutions this year because I didn't want to disappoint myself again. I wanted to just make small changes here and there and just see where it takes me after a couple of months. And then, I thought it'd be fun to look back on it. So let me show you what I did. So it just started off with me keeping a simple food diary. Now, I used to track my calories and everything about 3 years ago, and that was not good for me because I just constantly kept looking at how much calories I had left or trying to figure out how much calories I had left. So instead, I went for simple food tracking, and even this, I don't measure out the portions. I'm not consumed with the portion sizes. I just take it and I write down what I eat. And I got this planner a while ago, so I'm skipping through a lot. But so it looks just like this, and I just simply write down what I eat. And I have a Fitbit, so I track down how many steps, and if I did any other physical activity, that's what would be in here. So I started doing that, and then after doing that for about 2 weeks, I said, you know what, now I'm just going to need to let me tell you about it. So the reason why I started to just lightly track my food intake and what I was eating is because when I do feel ready to make that change, I can go ahead and look back and see where I can make substitutions in my diet, but also because I don't put myself at risk for eating a ton of junk food like I usually do. Because if I eat it, I have to write it down, and writing it down makes me accountable for it. So knowing that I have to write it down, it makes me less tempted to eat it because I'm just not, would it be really worth that one line item to just put cookies? Like, not really. So I don't want to be accountable for it, especially if somebody were to look back at it. I just keep thinking, what if you had somebody to look back at it? Like, would you be proud of what they saw? When I am ready to make a full dietary change, I can do it slowly by just changing things up throughout my meals and looking back and seeing what is the common denominator in all my meals that I can slowly change out. And usually, because I'm Asian, it is rice. Rice is usually my common denominator in all of these meals. And so when I am ready to make a dietary change, I can go ahead and replace regular white rice with brown rice, or something like riced cauliflower or something along those lines. So a little bit healthier, and again, it makes me accountable for everything that I'm eating. The next change that I did was looking at the gym in a completely different manner. Before, I used to pressure myself to go every single day, after work, every single day, and that was driving me absolutely insane. It was not a lifestyle choice that I could keep up with, and I knew I should have known I wasn't going to be able to keep up with it. But I figured, let me change it to going in the morning, because now that I'm really just focusing on using machines instead of a ton of cardio, I feel more energized for the day. day. So I decided to start going in the morning, and recently I did that change, but I kept feeling bad because I wasn't going every single day. But to be completely honest, I feel so worn out after going to the gym in the morning that I really don't want to go every single day. So I finally told myself that it's okay if I were to just go every other day and give myself that chance in the morning to just relax and sleep in for that extra hour instead of going to the gym. So it was a lot of different changes, but baby steps, and I wanted to share that because it is baby steps. Baby steps do produce a ton of results, and you don't notice it like right then and there, but when you look back, you get to see the results come to life. And I think that's why I just kept feeling like I let myself down, because I never saw the results right then and there, and when I was expecting to, because I was doing all of these things right. But baby steps, I can always tell myself, well, you're just taking small steps. These small steps are gonna add up to a large step and a larger change in your life. And that's what I want to let everybody else know, that it's okay to take baby steps and go at your own pace. You're not necessarily gonna achieve everything in a really short amount of time, but you're gonna be more prone to being successful because these steps are gonna become integrated into your actual life. And I think that's the most important part. And even if you fail at it, just remember, it's a baby step. It was just a small little thing compared to the bigger picture of everything else. And just because you fail at one small little thing, it doesn't mean you ruined the entire picture. There is still a chance to fix it. And the most important thing is always getting back up after your failures. You don't know how many times I've started going to the gym, I started making dietary changes, I started doing all these different things. I've started so many times and I've stopped. The most important part about it is just getting back up and getting back on track to where you need to go, because if you don't get back up, you never know what you are going to be able to succeed. You never know how far you would have come. And even if you get back up and you fall off again, guess what? The track is still there. You can get back on and keep going. Nobody counts your failures. Nobody cares how many times you failed. All they're going to realize and notice is the change and how far you've come, which is the biggest part. And that's what I need to keep reminding myself. And that's what I hope you remind yourself as well as you're going through your New Year's resolutions. I know the number one New Year's resolutions is usually to lose weight or to make that lifestyle change. It's not easy. It's a whole lifestyle change. Some of us can go 30, 40, 50 years of having the same pattern over and over again. But change takes time, and you need to remember that. So if there are 3 things that I want you to remember, is that 1, baby steps count towards the bigger picture. 2, getting back up is the most important step, not how many times you fail. And 3, change takes time. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to get back up. Don't be afraid to admit defeat. I hope you guys are having a wonderful start to 2017. I am glad to be sharing this journey with you. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, my blog, and also Twitter, all at ChowChow808. And everything will be listed down below as well, so we can keep up with each other's journeys. I am very excited to see how far we can come. And also, I'm always free to chat, and I love seeing inspiration everywhere. So if you are somebody who has come a long way during your fitness journey or lifestyle change, definitely let me know what your username handle is, and I definitely want to read your story. Until my next video, guys, I'll see you later. Bye.